So you'll need a title page. You do not need an abstract for the new criteria. Okay, let's just go. Okay, so table of contents, yeah, you're fine about. Make sure your page numbers go in there. You can see here we've got introduction, then we've got the aim research question. Yeah, that's a really good approach to do it like this. This is it's a different essay to what you're doing, but you know, it's good to show you this one and talk you through it so you can get a better idea about how to go about actually doing this essay. Okay, so we've got a title in there. Maybe move away from the two hypotheses. Geographical context or geographical theory, that's where your theories of gentrification go in. I've just noticed about this one that actually this is not a finished version. This is one that I actually fed back on. So it isn't the perfect finished version. But you can see, you know, good multi-stage map in there. Okay, like this one is for Ko Chang, but, you know, you could actually provide a site map with the, you know, your different locations and a photo for each one, which you have taken from Google, as I mentioned. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to use background information. It is a different essay, but it just gives you an idea about how to use subheadings, how to use a number system to make sure the essay flows better. This is a very good grade A essay. And this is what I was talking about, you know, using Google with your sites, with a little bit about the name or, you know, just brief description of it, and then put a photo around it. You imagine from an examiner's perspective, they see that, they've got a really good idea about how the sites vary, what's at different locations. Yeah, we've got mangroves down the eastern side of Ko Chang, etc. You know, beaches with lots of litter on down here, etc. And it just gives a really clear picture for the examiner. Yeah, we've got geographical theories here, that, you know, it's the same as your gentrification. And then a hypothesis. Now, I suggest that you just use one hypothesis, but we can talk about that later. Like I've said, this is not the completed version. So you put your hypothesis, and then there is some geographical justification about why you think our hypothesis is going to be true. So this is talking about the methodology. Yep, you can see here, word count, brief introduction, as I said, primary data, some photos out there of you collecting that data, what you collected and why it was important. This is really nicely laid out. This very, very clear. And then, of course, we go into the secondary data. And you need to have some, you know, you need to have a range of secondary data that goes into it, whether that's like things like, you know, Bangkok Post articles or, you know, geographical journals. I have a journal on gentrification, which I can actually send you to remind me to send that to you, and you can feed that in as well. But any other source of data that you've got elsewhere, which you've not collected yourself, the more, the better the essay will be. Now, one thing that's important, which probably wasn't on the one which the essay which I sent you, I can't remember now, but is some type of index. Now, an index is for you to sort of like ascertain the extent to which gentrification is taking place at each site. So you'll be looking at the variables that you're collecting, and you would be giving like a score. So here we can see this here. I mean, it doesn't apply to yours, but you can use a similar setup. So your indicator might be traffic. This one's impact. So what you might have is, let's say, traffic. So locally produced cheap cars to expensive imported cars. Older, traditional, older buildings, modern, new condominiums, houses, etc. And what you could have is like a scale system running from like 1 to 5. So lots of maybe about 6 or 7 different criteria down here, and then like a bipolar sort of like tick system in terms of like where you think each particular site is. And once you've got that index created, then it allows you to sort of like easily analyze the extent to which gentrification is taking place at the different sites. Data analysis, this is what I'm talking about lovely spatial graphs here. Yep. So you can, you know, put your pie charts or your bar charts or whatever, distribute around it, make sure you've got a key in there. Lovely. And then the analysis is integrated. Okay, photos, feeding in the secondary information. Another one. Perfect. Same, it's got the same scale throughout. Again, graphical, spatial graph, and then the integrated analysis there as well. Okay, and that's done again. So you can maybe use subheadings for the different data you've collected. It's up to you. You can see what I'm talking about, feeding in with photos, feeding in with secondary information, and that sort of like builds up the analysis in the essay. It's a really nice approach. You can see that the student here is feeding in some secondary information as well. So I'm going through this quite quick, but you get the idea. You might have a secondary, map of the area that you want to feed in at a different point. This is a graph that's obviously taken from the internet. 29, where's that from? Oh no, well, maybe not. Maybe she's produced it herself. Anyway. So you can see how an environmental impact assessment, you can see how this essay is building up using, analyzing each data using lovely spatial graphs. And then finally, the conclusion. The conclusion is not bringing in any new areas. It's sort of like a summary of your findings, linking back to the question. And then evaluation of the study and bibliography. So hopefully that will give you some idea what a really, really good essay is like and how you can possibly apply those skills to producing your essay.